I'm Mike Daniels. I currently serve as a Water Resource Specialist with the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture with the Cooperative Extension Service. I've been spending the last 20 years working on issues related to water resources in terms of quality and quantity, and trying to position us to be able to address some of these concerns that are growing in importance, and especially with some drivers like the Gulf of Mexico hypoxia. Models have shown, and it's only model data, but it's caused a lot of uproar that agriculture along the Mississippi River is contributing excessive nutrients to the Gulf and causing problems for the fishermen in the Gulf. And so we want to help agriculture. That's our job. And one way we decided to do that, we saw of a program, heard of a program in Wisconsin, and Dr. Andrew Sharpley, co-leader of Discovery Farms with myself. So we went up there and we saw what they were doing. And I thought it'd be a great way to get farmers to take ownership in terms of coming up with solutions. But before we could do that, we didn't even know if we had problems. Everybody was assuming and everything, but we wanted to do some background work on monitoring. You know, we had our farmers talking to their farmers, and I think inherently they saw the value of what they were doing, because we're collecting real data on nutrient losses, sediment losses, water use on our farms. A lot of the groups that come to us and say you're the problem don't have any data to support that. And we felt like we needed, and this is our slogan for Discovery Farms, we need to base this on science and not emotion. A lot of these issues are very emotional, but we need real numbers and real data, or we will not make right decisions. And that includes whether you're an environmentalist or whether you're a farmer. So, you know, we wanted to start documenting things on farm. And that took a leap of faith from our farmers that had participated in the program. But they came back and said, you know, we want to do it. We want to do it. And we're doing this in partnership. This is not a Division of Agriculture program exclusively. We've got lots of partners, and it's farmer-led. So when we come out on farms, we don't tell them, hey, we want you to do this or that. We ask them, what issues are you facing? What would you like to see done? And we rely on their expertise of knowing their fields, knowing the issues that they currently have. And so in that way, we came back. But they came back and said, we want to do this. So the Division of Agriculture, what we provide is the science. We come out and collect the water with automated samplers. They're state-of-the-art. They'll contact our cell phones and say, you've got a sample here. And then we're able to send that to the lab and look at the runoff. We have a stakeholder committee that we work with that helps us decide what we're going to do and how we're going to go forth with the program. What we're finding so far for most of our farms is that the nutrient levels are a lot lower in the runoff than you might anticipate with all the uproar and all the emotion and everything. So I think our farmers have been telling us for a long time, we feel we're pretty efficient with our fertilizers and our water, and we're documenting that. They are pretty efficient. And I think people are starting to look, colleagues of ours around the country starting to look at our program and say, you know, they're collecting some good data that we don't have other places.
Our farm is all surface water irrigation. We don't pump any groundwater. We don't even have a well on the farm. So everything we do is captured. We have tailwater ditches around the perimeter of our farm. So every drop of water that we pump on our farm, we capture it and reuse it. We don't let any water get away from us. We had never seen any problem in the past. I mean, this farm has been irrigated from reservoirs since the 40s. So we had a pretty strong feeling that we were not going to find a problem. But we still wanted the sound science to test the water and tell us we didn't have a problem. And that has really been useful to us. The preliminary data that we've seen is showing we're losing very little nutrients out of our fields. And of course, that's the whole goal, is to put the nutrients where you need them. You don't need the nutrients in the road ditches or in the streams. You need the nutrients in the field getting in the plant so the plant can use it and produce a crop.
Well, one of the things we have on this farm, or two things I guess, one is a tailwater recovery system around the farm, and we also just completed a new reservoir. The tailwater recovery system, what it's designed to do is catch runoff water from all of our fields to a certain point. It's a long, basically a ditch, deep, long ditch. It's a half a mile long. And once we catch that water, we have a pump in there that we can either pump it back to our reservoir or we can pump it back on the fields again. So basically we're just recycling every drop of water that comes off that field. Try not to lose anything so we can be as efficient as possible. The things that interested me was we're using flow meters on all of our fields to try to measure how much water we're actually putting on, how much water we're losing. We have monitors at the bottom of the fields to measure that. You know, different ways that we water crops, whether it be our zero grade fields versus our precision leveled fields that have improved our irrigation use to try to quantify whether that's actually happening. It's like I said, we need all the water on this farm we can get. So, you know, we've used crop moisture sensors to try to time our irrigations. We've used the faucet program, and now the Delta Plastic H2O initiative. We're using pipe planter to try to improve our irrigation and pinpoint those irrigations and get the water where it needs to be.
And we're starting to verify it. And you can't put a price tag on helping farmers verify that what they're doing is actually very efficient and working. Because if they're losing, and Terry will tell you, he's told me this, if I'm losing a lot of nutrients out of my field, I want to know so I can stop it. I can utilize that because fertilizer is expensive these days. And so that partnership's been very important. I'll say another partner in all this has been the Arkansas Soybean Promotion Board. They help fund some of our technicians who spend their time coming around collecting these samples. They've been very gracious, as well as the other commodity boards, in helping us fund this. We've had the United Soybean Board Sustainability Committee came down, toured our Discovery Farm. One of the groups we hosted here at the Dabbs Farm was the Gulf of Mexico Environmental Task Force. And that's 12 state governments and 5 federal agencies working together to try to reduce nutrients to the Gulf. They were just shocked at the amount of good work our farmers are doing, how we're trying to manage water. They realized in a hurry our farmers have been putting in a lot of conservation practices with and without financial assistance. And they were shocked to learn that Terry recycles every drop of water he uses on this farm. Him and Trent capture that water in a tailwater recovery ditch, send it back to their reservoir, and that's their water supply. It's very unique. We don't use any groundwater on this farm. And you know, in the groundwater crisis that we're in, that's very unique. But it's not so unique that it may not be the way we do things in the future on a lot of farms. And so they're very conscious of their water. And I think that really changed the impression of a lot of people when it came down. In fact, Ann Mills, the undersecretary, went back and wrote in a blog, unsolicited, that she realized that farmers in the Delta were a bigger part of the solution than they were of the problem. And so we can't, you know, we give that platform to the farmers for this to be farmer-led, and they do a great job hosting some of these groups and just getting people out on the farm to see what's really going on out there really changes perception and